now boarding.
Good evening, welcome back to the CFA with me, Cal Spellman and Richard Dunn. Half-time in our second pre-season game against Barnsley, and it is Manchester City 3, Barnsley 0. As 45 minutes go, you can't ask for much better than that, can you, Richard?
No, it was brilliant. It was a really good game. You wonder sometimes what you get out of pre-season friendlies, but you can see in that 45 minutes, City have had to work things out on the pitch. The players have had to do it themselves at times, and it's been a really good exercise so far, and the performance, I'm sure, will have delighted the manager.
Really will have done. Let's take a look then at the first half action, beginning with the first goal scored by Edozie. But it was a beautiful move, wasn't it, Richard?
It was very good, and City have had a little bit of trouble trying to get out from the back because they have three players pressing, and on this occasion Cancelo came into midfield and created the space, and it was a great ball over the top, and Mahrez, like he has done for a long time now, with a great assist, and nice for Edozie to get another goal in pre-season. The confidence that'll give him is brilliant. You
pointed out as well, just kind of on that Cancelo, it was the first time that, well, we've seen him loads there last season, moved into centre mid, which you said pulled the left back with him basically.
Yeah, because he'd stayed wide in the build-up in the previous half an hour. When he'd done it, I don't think Barnsley expected it, and the guy followed him in, which instantly opened up the space wide for Mahrez to receive the pass. And once he got there, his accuracy is so good on the cross with his right foot, and makes it a simple tap in for that lad.
Yeah, and I guess as well, they're the traps that I know you guys are always talking about, that kind of City kind of set them. They'll do that one different thing, and you do it subconsciously with their following without thinking, and that's when they catch you.
Exactly, and it's if he's your man and he moves in, your initial reaction is to go with him.
Yeah.
And as soon as he does, the players are so switched on to recognise their moments. So Diaz sees it straight away, knows what's going to happen almost, and he knows where his pass has to go, and the accuracy in the passing is perfect.
There it is. Second goal, let's take a little look at this then. So again, James McAtee there, who we will come back to very shortly. But great for Ben Knight to get a goal, Richard, as well, because I think he worked hard in the first half.
He's been excellent. In terms of work rate, he's not stopped. I seen him at one stage, he gave the centre-half a boot on the halfway line, and he had a little bit of go-to, but it shows that tenacity in him and that desire to want to be in this first team and be around it. And again, for a player that's playing in a centre-forward sort of false nine role, you want to get on the score sheet, and he got a nice little tap in, but again, confidence for the young lad to do it is great. And I think at this stage you could just start to see that City had worked things out, and they were starting to create spaces and starting to pull the Barnsley players around, which then led to even more opportunities coming.
It's funny as well, even in these two goals, great to see the young players kind of, but that you're seeing just the class of your Mahrez's and Cancelos are just that little bit of a difference.
Yeah, they do. It's that experience, and that when you come into the Man City team as a young player, you're instantly a very good player. But then these lads are world class. These are just that little bit more. So it will help the younger lads improve. It will give them more experience of playing with players who are at the pinnacle of the game, and you can see it with the quality in the final bits, what they show.
Exactly. And there's been some lovely moments being able to see here. There was a point where I think Ben Knight tried to play a ball, and Mahrez was telling him at that point, open up and play it over there. And you're just seeing the little lessons is great, isn't it?
It's amazing, and it's so useful for the younger players. And we spoke earlier about Diaz and how do you go into these games and stuff like that, and you can hear him and Zach Steffen especially speaking. And again, there was one occasion the ball went over Mendy's head, and you can hear Diaz going, "Sam, get back and help. And instantly Edozie realises, switches on, sprints back, and understands that's what I have to do, basically.
Yeah. And then he turned to Richard Dunn there and gave you a little nod, didn't he? Third goal, let's take a little look at this. Another beautifully worked goal from Manchester City. And again, as you said, they just started finding the rhythm. McAtee with the ball and out to Edozie, and then, well, the rest is here for all to see.
that's the quality that Mendy has. You know, in that cross, we know what he can deliver. And we've seen Mahrez's first touch is perfect all the time on the half volley. And this time he chooses not to control it and keep it next to him. He just passes it into the goal. But when we were chatting earlier and saying, like, for the younger lads, it's all right being the best player at under 23 level. When you come against first team footballers, you have to start to work things out in your head a little bit quicker and a little bit different. And for half an hour, it was a bit of a struggle. But then they started to find their spaces, realise where they could take players, where they could move to. And with that, the game opens up for them. And you can see almost the pleasure and the joy in the younger lads playing. They know the freedom, and they've done so well in that first half.
And you speak about freedom. One man who looked very free towards the end of that first half was Cole Palmer. Of course, it was a penalty. Unfortunately, we still can't quite break us not scoring penalties. But the penalty itself that he won was just, I mean, it's outrageous, really.
It was class. It's one of those moments that get you out of your seat. Even in an empty stadium, we're jumping up. Oh, I can't believe he's done that. But it was so smart. He wanted to get the short ball, and as soon as he received it, he knew what he was going to do, and he got by the guy in a definite penalty.
I mean, I feel for the Barnsley player. He's a full professional. And Cole Palmer, here we go again. I mean, right on the touchline. Oh, it's just delightful.
It's beautiful, but that comes with the confidence of how that first half has gone.
Yes.
He's just got better and better as it's gone on. And
fortunately, wasn't the best penalty, though.
Well, sadly, we've come to expect it from Man City at the moment. We don't seem to do penalties, but there was a moment after it, and you think, is his head going to go down or is it not? And within a couple of minutes, he was back on the ball. He was back beating players. He was knocking through balls, and he's just a good player.
Yeah.
When you watch him live, you just realise what a good player he is.
Really, really is.
Yeah.
The other player that we wanted to mention, and kind of yourself in particular, Richard, was James McAtee. And we've seen in those highlights there, I think he kind of more or less was involved in all three. Started two of them. He really, I think, had one of the probably man of the match for the first 45 minutes, I think.
I think he's been excellent. I think when he came on against Preston, and it's a different situation when you actually start a game. And I think for him, especially in the role that he's playing, I don't think he could find the space to start with. But as the game went on and you're watching him, he's in a position where the centre-halves can't mark him, the midfielders can't mark him, and he's causing them troubles all the time, and he's just so good with the ball. Even in situations like that where you look and you think, shoot, but he can't, he sees the pass, you know, he understands where the opportunity will be, and his first touch is brilliant. The defender done well. And
there was a great, I think in one of the goals previously, you said when he'd kind of skilled past kind of two players in the centre midfield, and you said you maybe then get excited and one of them find a kind of Kevin De Bruyne pass.
Yeah.
But the maturity for him to actually just play a simple ball said a lot about James, and actually he's a very intelligent player.
Definitely, because he took the ball in a really difficult situation at mid-height and dribbled away from two players, and you think he's in space now, he could do something. And a lot of young players do, and that's when decision-making becomes, are you a good footballer, or are you one of the best footballers, is down to decision-making. And the fact that, I mean, it was nothing really, it's a simple 5-yard pass, but he done it, and he understood, I've done my bit now give it there and let him go into the space. So it's clever, and it's, for someone so young to be able to make decisions so quickly is really good. And
it wasn't just him kind of being involved with starting plays in middle midfield. There was a lovely little movement here, I think, where Fernandinho plays in to McAtee. So he kind of is influential in the middle, but can also do things in the final third as well. I think he's got a killer left foot on him as well. It's a great run.
Even with, as soon as Diaz has the ball, you can see him scanning the areas to see what's going to happen, and he plays it into Knight, and as he plays it in, he's making the move. Knowing Knight's vacated the middle areas, and he's straight through, and in a normal, probably a red card in the Premier League game.
Yeah. I mean, and that word you said there, scanning, because how key is that for players to kind of do? Because you know, when you watch Gundogan's another one who I think his head does not doing that. I guess that's so important, particularly in the middle of the pitch, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, because space is at a premium in the middle of the field, so you need to try and get, whether it be 1 or 2 yards away from people. And when you watch, certainly McAtee in that first half, he stood there looking where the centre-half is. The centre-half comes to him, he just takes a step away from him. If the midfielder wants a step back, he takes a step to the left, and he's always available. He's always in a space of maybe 1 or 2 yards, but he's that confident he can take it in, control it, and pass it before someone can get to him.
Yeah, class. Final mention for another player, Edozie, of course, scored in our first pre-season against Preston, scored again here, and he was unlucky maybe not to have a couple more, but really was a threat throughout the whole 45 minutes there on the left-hand side, wasn't he?
His dribbling was excellent. And another thing which impresses with a lot of the younger lads is the desire to win the ball back. We've seen it there with Sam Edozie. He pressing the defenders, wins the ball back, and goes and creates his own opportunity almost.
And the other player I think we noticed who was good at winning it back as well was Ben Knight. He did a couple little nicks from behind, didn't he? I think the players didn't even know he was there.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it's like, it's all right being a good footballer, but if you haven't got the correct attitude and the correct desire to go and put 100% in, you won't go far. But these lads definitely do, and we've seen with Ben Knight with the tackling, with Edozie with the ability to dribble past people, Cole Palmer with his passing ability, and McAtee finding space. You're looking at these players and thinking, these are right on the fringe. These are right on the cusp of becoming players at Man City, and it's a massive credit to the academy to be able to produce so much.
And there must be, if you're putting in performances like this, it's got to be giving Pep a little bit of a headache going, is there a couple more players here maybe we bring into the first team next season? Yeah,
and it gives him a headache because there'll be not only them players wanting to play first team football and enjoying the experiences that they're having. I'm sure Barnsley must be looking at them going, actually, we'll take a few of them if you don't mind. And they'll want to get into, the younger lads will want to play first team football. There'll be plenty of clubs who will want to take them. So it's a balancing act almost to try and keep those players developing and keep them happy.
Yeah, really is. Richard, thank you so much. So we've got some City players warming up there. I think as we saw in the Preston game, there'll probably be a whole host of changes. I'm sure Alistair Mann and Michael Brown will bring you all of them, and you can catch them on City Plus. Nice to see Zinchenko and Gundogan there, so it looks like they'll be getting a little bit of a run out. But if you want to watch these next 45 minutes and honestly just see some of the wealth of talent that is coming through Manchester City's academy, then City Plus is the place in which you can do that. You just sign up, you subscribe, and you've got it all there to watch. So we will not be back full time for this one, but I can say we are going to be back exclusively on Tuesday for another pre-season game against Blackpool. So we'll be back an hour before then at 6 p.m. kickoff. We'll be live from 5, then we're back at half-time and full-time as usual. Richard, absolute pleasure as always. Thank you to Michael Brown as well. I've heard that Alistair Mann has said that he wants Sean Goater back for all commentary moving forward. He's just not quite up to speed. But thank you to you guys as well for joining us. Enjoy the second half. Grab yourself a brew, and as we always say, come on City.